Lesson 7, Paleolithic Times, Part 1. The oldest periods of human history, we call that the Stone Age. The Stone Age is divided into two sections, the Old Stone Age and the New Stone Age. Paleolithic literally means old stone. The newer section is called the Neolithic. Neolithic means new stone. So at the beginning of class today, we did a reading together. And then we also filled out our planners and went through any school announcements. And we finished yesterday's notes, so the question and the summary section. And then we did today's notes, which was the Stone Age reading and notes on that. And at the end, we did some hunter and gatherer haiku poems. And then with any extra time, we watched the CNN 10, the newscast. So the I can statement today was, I can describe life in the Paleolithic age. And there actually is homework tonight, writing 2 hunter-gatherer haiku poems. More on that later. So we started in our history textbook today. We started actually looking in our class book from McGraw-Hill. And we started here on page 54, the Paleolithic age. And we did a reading. And as we read it, we filled out our notes kind of outline style as we went. So Paleolithic means old stone. It was about 2.5 million years ago to about 8,000 BC, pretty recent. And the second section was called Surviving the Paleolithic Age. Our earliest ancestors were hunters and gatherers, and they were nomads. A nomad means someone who moves around seeking food. So the search for food was pretty much all-consuming, and they had to get enough calories to survive the day. The hunting involved animals such as buffalo, bison, goats, reindeer, fish, and the gathering involved plants such as nuts, berries, fruits, and green plants. We joked in class, how would they have even known back then what was and wasn't poisonous? And the answer, of course, is you just have to do trial and error at first.
I eated the purple berries. How? Oh.
How are they, Ralph? Good?
They taste like burning.
Classic Simpsons episode there where they were doing the same thing, trial and error on tasting the berries on that island. Finding food. Men hunted. That usually involved chasing animals off of cliffs or using spears to bring them down. Women did a lot of things like tending the children and gathering closer to the shelters. The invention of tools. Technology. Technology is tools and ways to do tasks. So we know, of course, we call it the Stone Age because their tools are made of stone. And over time, they got more and more advanced. And the thing that allowed humans to be so successful is we don't have to rely on evolution to survive. We can actually adapt or change our behavior in order to survive. So when the Ice Ages came, we were able to change the way we behaved and survive. Some of the changes that we made, or the adaptations, were we started making clothing. We at first began living in available shelter, and then we branched out and we started making our own shelters, meaning we moved from available shelters like caves to making our own shelters, lean-tos out of sticks or animal bones. Next up, fire sparks changes, a little pun there. Fire brought about many changes in the way that humans lived. Particularly, we could keep warm. We could also use fire to hunt by burning woods down and flushing the small animals out. Fire could also be used to chase away wild animals at night, and it was an excellent way to cook food. And when you cook food, it not only tastes better, but it's a lot easier for the body to digest, and so you get a lot more calories out of it because your body doesn't have to spend so much energy to break it down and to digest that food. So, the assignment today was to do hunter and gatherer haiku poems. A haiku poem is, of course, a Japanese form of poetry that has 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and 5 syllables in 3 lines. It doesn't have to do with the number of words in the line, but the number of syllables. Here's an example of a hunter-gatherer haiku poem. Hunt the animals, new fur clothes for everyone, but sadly, they stink. The homework assignment tonight is to write 2 more haiku poems that describe life in the Paleolithic age. We'll share those tomorrow.